If you're like most small business owners, chances are you have a lot on your plate. If you've ever thought about delegating some of your tasks and thought about maybe hiring a virtual assistant, today's video is for you. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Shawon, and joining me today is a very special guest, and her name is Ashley Robinson. Ashley has evolved from a skilled paralegal to a highly effective virtual assistant. She is the owner of Behind the Penn Virtual Assistants. She helps busy professionals and entrepreneurs streamline their operations and boost productivity so they can achieve their goals. Today, we are going to dive into how to prepare and hire the ideal virtual assistant. Please help me welcome Ashley to the channel. I am so excited to have Ashley joining us today. I am looking forward to our conversation, Ashley. And let's start off with you sharing a bit about your journey and what has got you to where you are today in the virtual assistance space.
Perfect. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I'm really happy to sit with another fellow business owner. I think this is a great opportunity that you give people to share about their experience, right? So for me, I went to college here in Boston, in the Boston area, and I went to Suffolk University, and I studied paralegal studies. And it was kind of always my plan to work as a paralegal and then go to law school and kind of go on that trajectory. And excuse me, I did follow that. And I've worked as a paralegal for about 12 years now. And it's been great. It's been great working as a paralegal. I've learned a lot of different skills and have been able to work in very intimate settings in law firms. And I've worked for corporate law firms as well. But when 2020 came around, I think it kind of had all of our minds just going, right? Of like new opportunities and how we could pivot and how we can prepare ourselves for, hopefully not, but if there is another time like that, how can we prepare ourselves better, right? And I think that the job market has changed a lot, and the job atmosphere has changed a lot for a lot of people since then. And what I mean by that is that a lot more people are working remotely. And so I wanted to figure out a way that I could still make money, but make money from the comfort of my own home, not only for my safety, but for other people's safety, and just to diversify my skills. And that's when I came across the virtual assistant community. And I kind of dove into that, did a lot of research, maybe a little too much, but did a lot of research and figured that, I already had the foundational skills to be successful in this. And I also saw it as an opportunity to gain new skills, which I think is great too. As a virtual assistant, you're constantly learning, which I enjoy doing. So that's a little bit about how I got here. And it's been great ever since.
Oh my gosh, how many of those stories, the 2020 like timestamp, right? Waking, like pivoting, shifting to something new. So, gosh, I enjoy hearing how you got here and how that experience also played a role into you starting this new business. And I want to ask you too, Ashley. You said you did a lot of research, and I believe you for sure. Coming from your background as a paralegal, I could definitely see you researching and getting in there and finding out everything that you could possibly learn. I want to ask you, what gaps did you see for business owners as you were researching the path of becoming a virtual assistant?
So I think the biggest thing about being a business owner is that you kind of are a jack of all trades, right? So oftentimes when people start out, they're doing everything from A to Z. They're doing their bookkeeping, they're doing their marketing and social media outreach. They're getting clients and doing all of the back end of their businesses while also being the front of their business as well. So it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. And so I think that the gap that I saw is that a lot of people who coin themselves as solopreneurs really do need a team behind them to be successful. And I think that there are lots of people who probably do it on their own. But there's so much value in creating a team, and there's so much value in asking other people to help support you.
Really good, really good. Do you find, or maybe the question should be, okay, business owners, everything that you just mentioned, having a lot on your plate, juggling it all, especially as a solopreneur, maybe you haven't created a team yet. Where would you advise a small business owner to start, or some of the thoughts maybe to be proactive and not reactive to, oh my gosh, everything's, I'm dropping all the balls. I don't know how I can do one more thing. I'm at my I've reached capacity with my bandwidth. Where should someone start in terms of mindset, like thinking about that team? Where should they start, especially if you want them to not get to that place of, oh my gosh, I need help right now. I don't know what I need. I just need someone. So, where would you suggest starting in terms of mindset? Where should we start thinking about this?
So I think the first thing is to get in the mindset that it's okay not to do it all. Um,
Mm,
and I also think that not being able to do it all doesn't mean you're not successful. It doesn't mean you can't run a business. It doesn't mean anything negative. It's actually a very positive mindset to be in because there's this thing called burnout. And I think we've all been there in different ways in our
yes.
lives, whether that's through work or family or school or whatever it may be. Um, there are ways to avoid getting there again. So I think that the first thing is realizing that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to realize that you need others on your team in order to have a successful business. And I think that's the first way to start in terms of mindset. And then once you're in that mindset, then you can start with the actionable steps to be able to kind of move through the steps in order to hire someone.
Love that. I love that you said starting with that mindset, like having that be a part of just your, I don't know, foundational thinking, if you will, once you become a business owner, to not get into that mindset that doesn't serve you well in terms of I have to do it all or I can do it all. Just to know, yeah, having that mindset when you're starting out. Oh my gosh, that's the conversation that I wish that someone would have had with me to say, hey, girl, you're going to have a lot going on, and it will help you like to have that spaciousness that you desire, and to also to achieve your goals, that create a team around you, and figuring out what that support might look for you. You mentioned many business owners are doing their own bookkeeping when they're starting out, maybe managing their social media, writing all the social media, doing all the marketing. And it's just a lot, right?
Right.
And it's so, I think I love what you said about having that mindset when you're starting out. And actually, if we have that mindset when we start out, or it's okay if you're in the middle and it's like, oh my gosh, I think it's time for me to start thinking about some of the tasks that I can delegate out, or a team that I need to surround myself with to help me to achieve my goals. Specifically, when it comes to virtual assistants, what are some things that a business owner can start doing now to prepare for someone to step into that role for them?
So I think one thing that business owners can do is it seems really simple, right? So I would say
Mhm.
I'm an old fashioned person. I love pen and paper. So I would say have a notebook next to you just as you're
Mhm.
moving through your day to day in your business. And as you're moving through your tasks for the day, kind of think about, is this a task that I have to do as the business owner, or is it a task that I can delegate to someone else? And through that delegation, virtual assistants, they come with their own experience, but there's also a way to train the virtual assistant to be of service to your specific business too. So even though it might be something where you're like, oh, I have this process down A to Z, I know what to do, so maybe I should keep it, kind of be open to the idea of delegating that to someone else and giving them the blueprint and the step-by-step guide on how to do it exactly how you would. It's just everything will be done the same, except you have that freedom to be able to focus on other areas of your business. So throughout your day, jot down on the pen and paper just different tasks that you think that you could delegate, and that would be beneficial for you to pass along to someone else.
Love that. And you mentioned processes. What about business owners who maybe they're keeping that list of tasks like going, they have that notebook, pen and paper. I love pen and paper. What about the business owner who may not have a process for certain things yet? What would you advise for them?
I think it's just as important, even if you don't have processes yet, to get a virtual assistant on your team. There are virtual assistants that range in terms of their niche. Right now, I provide general services, which is great because I can kind of have my hand in different areas of your business and really help your business flow, right? So help your processes flow and help everything make sense, and to run more smoothly on the back end. So there are also virtual assistants who have a specific niche. So you might find a virtual assistant who has a specific expertise in bookkeeping or specific expertise in web design. So once you figure out what areas of your business you need help in, I would then figure out, okay, what kind of role do I need to hire in order to support me in this? Is it a specific role with a specific niche, or would you rather a general VA who can really help you hone in on your processes and help you identify where you can improve your business too, right? No one's perfect, and I think there's improvement everywhere. And sometimes it takes someone with an outside perspective to come into your business and have that also that confidentiality that, you know, everything will stay within your business, but you can have someone come in and look at your processes from a bird eye view and help you streamline at the back end.
Love that. Love that. I want to ask you too, Ashley, would it be helpful? I know one of the things that I did when I was a wedding photographer and I was working with the VA, one of the things that I started to do was to make these videos on Loom where I would walk them through how I wrote a blog post or what were the steps to getting the blog post published. And maybe I had a Pinterest, or I did have a Pinterest account, and it was, okay, this is how we'll create the graphics in Canva. And I recorded all of these videos to start putting together a manual, if you will, a digital manual where in my mind, I could help my virtual assistant once I got to that place to be able to onboard them and to accelerate the process of getting them started. Would you provide anything additional to doing that, or would you recommend someone do that, or any other tips around like preparation to bring someone onto your team?
I think that's a great point. I think that recording videos, kind of doing a screen grab as you walk through your existing processes, is a great idea because sometimes we don't have time to write a full step-by-step standard operating procedure, right? But you're able to, you know, as you're moving through the task, you're able to record and at least show the virtual assistant how you move through that task. And then on the back end, the virtual assistant can then make it more robust and put it into a formal standard operating procedure. That's actually one of my favorite things to do in my business. For others is to create SOPs. I think it's really valuable to have that as a part of your business because then anyone can kind of step in and help assist you, right? And there's a process in place so that things are consistent, so that things are done in a certain way so that everything stays organized. So I think that's a great tool to use. I think that another important thing in preparation is making sure that the areas that you choose to onboard or have more assistance in are going to actually help generate more business, right? So think about the tasks and think about, okay, if I delegate my bookkeeping, for example, how am I going to use that extra time I have to then accelerate my business or add value to my business, right, with your extra time. So I think making sure that the areas that you want to delegate are going to generate more for your business and elevate you essentially.
What I hear when you say that is freedom.
Yes,
More
exactly.
time. Yeah, absolutely. More time to be able to, I feel like just to be able to think sometimes and to stay in your zone of genius, if you will, too. Yeah, I love that you you mention that, because all of those things, because I definitely hear freedom and time, right? All of the things, or some of the reasons why you started your business, perhaps to enjoy some of that time freedom and getting into things. And as we've talked about, having a full plate, juggling all the hats, and to have someone like yourself to come in and give us that time freedom back is, yeah, it feels so good.
It does. It
I'm getting
really
excited about it. And Ashley, you mentioned you were talking about for someone looking to hire, like figuring out what your needs are and what role you need to have fulfilled, and you just added on to that. Are you bringing in someone who can then allow you to make more progress in your business? Maybe really focus on those revenue generating ideas. What or revenue gener Oh my gosh, revenue generating activities. What are some of the challenges that you see business owners facing when it comes to bringing or hiring a virtual assistant to become on their to be a part of their team?
I would say that finding the right fit
Mm,
can be challenging for some business owners. I think that, all of the businesses that we create, whenever someone creates a business, it's near and dear to their heart, right? And I think that's because of the time and the effort that is put into starting a business. And so finding the right person to support that, I think, can sometimes be challenging. Sometimes you have to have multiple interviews with virtual assistants, or I call them discovery calls, multiple discovery calls, um, to kind of understand, is this person going to be a good fit for my business? And the benefit of a discovery call is that it's, for my business, it's at no cost. It's about 30 minutes long, and it's a chance for us to go over, what are your needs as a business owner? How can
mhm.
I help you there? And also, I give them a good overview of how I run my business so that it's clear, what our partnership will be like. And I think that is can be challenging for some people, is to find the right fit, um, and someone who's also adaptable, someone who can, be a leader in the sense of being a leader as a virtual assistant, but also not try and overstep, right? Not try and tell you how to run your business, but then seeing how you run your business and wanting to add ways to support you. Um, so
Love that. Love that. And okay, you gave us some great like qualities interspersed in there. What are some red flags that you would say, look out for this?
one thing not to steer away from is lack of experience, because I think that
Mm,
if the person is teachable, I think that anyone can assist you. So I wouldn't necessarily think of lack of experience as a red flag, but I would say communication, right? If someone isn't communicative, because we're all doing this virtually, right? So it's not like you have someone in an office with you. You can just go up to their desk and have a conversation with them. Oftentimes, everything is via email, and you might have some web calls with the person as well, but you want to make sure that you can at least have someone who is responsive to you. So if
mm.
you're seeing that during the interview process or during the onboarding process that there's a lack of responsiveness, I would say that's probably a red flag, um, in terms of having someone who's going to be consistent. I would also say making sure that the person is forthcoming with how they operate in their business. I think that's really important. I personally have a set amount of hours, that my business hours, I would say, that I'm open to communication and things of that nature. But after that time, I let my clients know that if they do reach out to me after hours, which they can absolutely do so, that they'll receive a response within 24 hours, so that you can set those expectations with your clients so that everything is clear, and there's no lack of communication or issues of that nature. So I would say those are certainly things to look out for.
Really good. Really good. Thank you for sharing that. I know sometimes we can hear, all of the good things to look for, but it's those red flags sometimes that can catch us off guard and we're not prepared and we may hire the wrong person. And actually, everything that you're sharing today is going to help us to hire the right person and to be prepared as business owners to do so. Before we wrap up today, I am, wow, enjoying this conversation. I'm like smiling over here about all of that freedom that I'm hearing and everything that you say. I want to ask you if there is one tip that you would like to share before we go into just like a quick rapid round of questions for you.
Um, so I actually read a book recently. The
Mhm.
author is Isis Brianna, and her book is Skyrocket Your Business with Social Media. So she's a marketing consultant. And one tip that she shared that really resonated with me in this current atmosphere that we live in, right, is essentially her words are don't be a hater, right? And so by that, she means that, in this day and age, it's very easy to compare ourselves, right? And I think that they call it analysis paralysis. At the beginning of my business, it kind of had me not starting my business when I should have because I'm fully capable of it. It was just there's a lot going on around me that, you see someone doing what you want to do, and instead of complimenting that person, we actually get a little envious or a little jealous. So I think a great tip is essentially don't be a hater, and when you see others that are doing what you want to do, or you see others that are where you want to be, actually reach out to that person, ask them for advice, build a network, build a community, because most people who are successful or wherever they are in their journey, they're willing to share, and I think that's the best way to learn. So I would say don't be afraid to reach out to those that you see around you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to make connections and network. And once you do that, and once you're not shy about that,
Mm.
and once you're not shy about being a beginner in your journey, you're going to really see your business elevate, and you're going to grow confidence as well.
Mhm. It's also one thing that you shared in that too at the very end, being a beginner. And it's okay. Everyone starts somewhere, like we all start at that beginning stage. And yes, taking everything that Ashley just shared, because it is so, so true. And then one day you're going to look up, it's 5, 10 years down the road, and you're that person now that that beginner is looking up to, and maybe having, some of those feelings. And what a great way to be able to support and lift others up too as they are starting their journeys, because we all have gifts and talents to share with the world. And the way you do it is going to be different than someone else who does the same thing. Like you bring your own set of experiences, like Ashley, bringing her experience and her love for what she does. And I've told you this like ever since. I don't, maybe it wasn't day one, but I'll say day number two, that I see so much in you. And I'm just so excited for all of the business owners and professionals that you're going to get to work with. So I am so excited for you. Ah.
I really appreciate that. Yes, you always have such kind words, and I actually think of you when I think of building a network, because like you, along with other people I've met along the way, everyone has just been so encouraging and so supportive. And so I want other people to be able to feel that support too. And it's great because once you feel that support, you give that support to others, and then it just makes for a great networking community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, before we wrap up, how about we go through just a few? You've already given like the best piece of advice. Oh my gosh, that was so good. So how about sharing one fun fact about the woman behind the brand,
Let's see.
behind
So
the brand?
Yes. So oftentimes people wonder where the name comes from. And I think that a lot of times it reminds people of a copywriter business, or an editing business. And although I do provide some of those services, Behind the Pen actually comes from my maiden name, my former name. So my former name was Ashley Penn, Penn. And so I did a play on my family name, which was really nice. So it was nice. My dad was like very happy. I told him about the name of my business, and he thought it was so clever and so proud. So that's where the name comes from.
Oh my gosh, love that. Love that. Let's see here. How about it's fall time? Oh my gosh. We've had a little bit of sunshine in New England, but it's fall. What is your favorite fall comfort food?
Oh boy. So right now, I've really been on a kick of baking bread. I'm determined
Mm.
to master bread. And I think it's really nice because I make a lot of soups in the fall and winter as well. And so to have some nice homemade bread, I'm experimenting with sourdough. So I love to bake and I love to cook. So that's really one of my favorite fall activities because everything is just, it makes everything so cozy. And living in
Yeah.
New England, our weather gets cold very fast. Like this weekend, for example, it was warm this weekend and then today it's cold. So all of the cozy activities, I love them.
Love it, love it. I'm with you on that. Oh my gosh. And how about, let's see, you just shared a favorite hobby. How about, do you have any other, like maybe one other favorite book that you would like to recommend? I have Skyrocket Your Business with social media. Do you have another one?
I do. So it's another relatively new book that I've read. I'm a God fearing woman. So this book is called Unraveled, and it's basically a love letter from Jesus, and it's just it's so
Mhm.
beautifully written, and it really makes you think that it's hard to believe that a person actually wrote it. Like the way that it's written, it just really touches your heart. So if you're ever having a tough time or you need some encouragement or you just need to be reminded of God's love for you, amazing book. I highly recommend it.
I knew this was going to be a good talk. I told you, what do you think? Having fun?
Yes, I think it was lovely, and I'm so excited that you approached me and you asked me to do this interview with you. So I really appreciate it. It's been great talk.
You are very, very welcome. And everyone who's watching, please leave Ashley some love down in the comments below. Let her know what resonated most with you. And also, if you want to learn more about Ashley's virtual assistant business or how she can serve you, I am going to leave a link down in the description to her discovery call where you can have a one-on-one conversation with her and learn more. And I want to just say to you, Ashley, thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with all of us.
Thank you so much.
You are so very welcome. So very welcome. Well, thank you so much for watching. And as I mentioned, leave Ashley some love down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.